Now, we know the backbone of this country is farming. People out on the land, people in the regions and rural parts of Australia, they are the engine room of this economy. But would you believe it now? You've got banks deciding that they may well not loan money to farmers on the basis that they want to cut down trees. Westpac is now bringing this in from December the 31st, 2025. It will be a part of loans being given to farmers that they cannot contribute to any kind of deforestation. The story about this says, quote, the commitment would prohibit dairy, beef and sheep farmers from further converting natural forest to agricultural land use from December the 31st, 2025, as I said. Farmers are worried that the bank could use definitions of deforestation not suited to the Australian landscape or agricultural industries to determine what is considered deforestation. Now, we know the population of Australia is increasing. It's not just increasing because people are born here. It's increasing because we keep importing people. We've imported about 600,000 extra people this year so far alone, and that shows no sign of decreasing. So if you're going to have all these extra people in the country, you've got to feed them somehow. And would you believe it? That involves running cattle, running sheep, running pigs on land. Where do they think the food's going to come from? But the high and mighty banks now say, well, if you cut down a few trees so you can actually use the land for agricultural purposes, we're not going to give you a loan. You can't farm anymore. And what are we all going to do then?
And I bet if a renewables company went to Westpac wanting $1 billion for, say, a wind farm or a solar farm, the money would be available without any qualification about how many trees you might need to get rid of.
We don't even need details.
How are they going to police this? Are they going to have like a Westpac drone flying over your farms and make sure you're doing the right thing?
Zach. What are you doing? But honestly, the fine print from this article has to be read to be believed. In the Oz today, it says this commitment by Westpac would prohibit dairy, beef and sheep farmers from further converting natural forest to agricultural land use from December 31, 2025. Farmers are worried that the bank could use definitions of deforestation not suited to the Australian landscape or agricultural industries to determine what is considered deforestation. So they've put this plan out there and they haven't even had the foresight to spell out very clearly to people that this is going to affect in a very real, on-the-ground way what they mean by deforestation. Because, of course, there's logging and like levelling entire paddocks that were otherwise full of trees. And then you've got burn-offs, you've got all kinds of things that could be considered deforestation. Farmers don't even know, like, what will and won't make them consider that you're not allowed a loan anymore.
Well, who needs...
What am I allowed to do on my own land now?
Well, exactly, but who needs any kind of rules or anything in all? This is all just touchy-feely, corporate, you know, we're ticking the box kind of nonsense, right?
Well, that's the crazy thing, right? You've got some bureaucrat in an office in Sydney, I presume, telling farmers how to farm their land, as if farmers are just, you know, reckless when it comes to their own properties. They get rid of vegetation to get rid of feral animals, to improve the soil, for regeneration. You would have thought that Westpac, along with other corporates, would have learned during the referendum, we don't want them to make social policy, we just want them to stick to their core business.
But this isn't just virtue signalling. Like, anyone who knows anything about Agenda 2030 or whatever you want to call it, we keep joking, oh, they keep trying to make us eat bugs, ha ha ha, you'll have nothing and you'll be happy. Why the constant crackdown on everything that makes us wealthy, on everything that is not only conducive to surviving, but absolutely imperative, like food? Why do you keep giving the farmers a hard time? Why have the big four banks already committed to no longer loaning by 2030 or 2035, depending on which of the four banks we're talking about, have publicly committed to stop financing coal? Oh, okay, that's a big one. Other banks have totally committed for years now to stop investing in anything fossil fuel related. The banks are literally cutting us off at the knees because nobody needs them more than the industries that allow our nation to thrive. So I object to the suggestion that, oh, this is just virtue signalling, they're just trying to get their, points up. No, this is part of an agenda. It's very deliberate, and we're watching it walked out in real time.
And you saw today, the NAB posted a $7.7 billion profit, right? And at the same time, I couldn't get over this. The Greens are now suggesting a bank tax. I mean, it just shows how deeply unserious the Greens are. Who do they think's going to pay the bank tax? Not the bank, it's going to be you. They're just making the bank levy the tax off of you so that you can then pay it in the middle of a cost of living crisis. Are these people insane? Like, do you go to the supermarket and the GST is paid by the supermarket? No, the bank is not. You reckon the NAB or Westpac or Combank's going to wake up tomorrow and go, oh, yeah, $3 billion hit to the bottom line. That's about half of our profits for the year. No worries. We're not going to pass that on to the consumer. Are these people mad?